Hi, this is Ron Lappin. We're here at Kentucky Lake Outdoors. We're going to talk to you about a couple things today. Over the last weekend, we had a lot of people in here, and you get a chance to talk to them, and that's what we're here for. Stop by anytime and talk fishing. We'd love to do that. We'd ask people, what are you looking for? Well, my favorite bait is a 3/8 ounce spinner bait. Well, let's talk about that a minute. We've got several spinner baits in stock. We've got about every brand you can think of, but let's take this River Special Accent here, which is one of our best selling spinner baits, especially in the 3/8 ounce. And this particular bait is a Willa Willa nickel gold, and this is going to be time to fish that spinnerbait pretty quick. Our water temperature's in the 50s right now, and we've been up and down, up and down. Even though they caught them well this week in the college event, we're going to have a lull time as the fish move on further back in the bay. As soon as the water gets in the high 50s or low 60s and the water stabilizes, fish are going to start looking for a place to make babies. And when they spawn, they're tougher to catch. The first phase you'll see is the fish staging, which is what's happening now. In the next stage, they'll move on back, but they won't move all the way up to the spawning banks. They'll be roaming around. The probably search and destroy bait, the best search and destroy bait you could come up with is a spinner bait. But you also need, maybe 3/8 is your favorite, but you can't have just one spinner bait, one size spinner bait. And the reason for that is you need to keep the bait in the strike zone. Got a 3/8 ounce River Special Accent here and a 1/2 ounce River Accent. One of them is a gold Willa Willa, and the other one's a gold nickel Willa Willa. And what we're going to talk to you about is using those baits. When the fish are very, very shallow and you need to come over that cover and really keep that bait down in the strike zone, very shallow fish, use the 3/8. When they're off the bank and they haven't committed to go up and spawn yet, you want to use a heavier bait where you can drop the bait to them. That's where you need a 1/2 ounce. And what we usually like to do is I like to throw a contrast color on my trailer. My favorite trailer is a split tail zoom trailer. And on the chartreuse and white bait, again, I like to throw a contrast trailer. The chartreuse and white bait, I like to use the white trailer. Make sure when you put a trailer on a spinner bait, it's just like anything else, plastics you put a hook in, you want it as straight as possible because you want the bait to look natural and track straight. So just be sure when you put it on there, don't put any more of the plastic on the hook than you need because you need all that throw to the hook and the round bend of the hook to get the fish in. So what I like to do is take my trailer, snug it up good and tight. Some people glue their trailers. I don't recommend it because you get any glue around a skirt and you're going to have a wad of mess there. Be sure to keep it on there straight. This twin tail trailer here is an excellent search and destroy bait when you're in shallow water. You can see the contrast of the white trailer there and the chartreuse and white skirt. Another thing that's very, very important, of course, we sell spinner baits, and when yours mess up, we want you to come back and buy another one. But the thing you need to do the minute you put a spinner bait down and choose another bait is take your bait, reel it up to the end of your rod, and shake the rod a few times. Make sure that you clear all the water off your skirt. Say you don't do that and you put that skirt in your rod box and you pick it out the next time, when you pick it up, it's going to look like a piece of chewed bubble gum because you've left that water in there. It's matted. Even silicone will do the same thing, mat them together. Also, I'd recommend you use Real Magic on your skirts. If you have a skirt that's matted up and everything, put some Real Magic on there and just take and pull it out. 9 times out of 10, you can get it out. 3/8 ounce spinnerbait, chartreuse and white, and that's when the fish move up shallow. And then before they get up there and after they get done spawning, you're going to start having to come out off the bank a little bit. You want to make sure that you use a little bit heavier spinnerbait. This is the 1/2 ounce version of that bait, and I have gold. I just like to switch things up. Cloudy days, gold shows up a little better than nickel, so just keep that in mind. This hook has a little bit longer throat on it here, and it also has a longer shaft, so you want to put a little more of the plastics on the bait there. Again, same thing, make sure it's on there straight. Make sure that you got your lines on your bait where it came out of the mold so you know exactly where to put it. Put your bait in there. only put on what you need. Don't put any more on there than you need. There you have your skirt again. There's a chartreuse trailer on a white spinnerbait. Gold, gold. Excellent choice before the fish move up to spawn and when they're done. I like to throw a spinnerbait heavy enough to touch anything that sticks up off the bottom, but not so heavy that it drudges along. And I don't like to use a light spinnerbait when I have to let the bait fall. I like to use a little bit heavier spinnerbait. You can use it on as light as 15-pound test. I'd recommend 17-pound. You know, I throw fluorocarbon all the time on my spinnerbaits. Even though fluorocarbon sinks, you need the extra weight and everything to make sure the bait swims down and stays down in the strike zone. The slowest you can reel it is the way I start. The fish will tell you how they want it. Sometimes when those fish get done and they're hungry, when they get done spawning and everything, you can burn it across the top of them. And as soon as you get out past the cover you're throwing at, if you're throwing at a grass line, as soon as you clear that grass line, just kill your bait, hold your rod in a set position, start the bait up again. You actually jerk it a little bit to get it move. And especially when you get done with the spawn and there's fry around. When you scatter those fry by jerking your spinnerbait, it looks like a bass or some other fish came through there and eats the bait that's available there in the fry. Fish will come up and grab it. But that's it on spinnerbaits. We appreciate everybody watching us. Be sure to stop and see us at Kentucky Lake Outdoors.